Hey everyone, and welcome back to Every Model is a Necromunda Model, aka M&M for short, and our top 10 best painted models in the category. Now, what is M&M or Every Model is a Necromunda Model? Well, it is basically a competition where we ask people to make models for Necromunda without using any of the GW Necromunda products, apart from weapons and accessories. There were fun tables, there were fun other bits, and if you want to know more, you can go to the video link up here, somewhere on the screen, and down in the show notes below. But basically, we're going to be talking about a bunch of amazingly, epically painted models from amazing creators out there on both Instagram and in our Discord channel, which you should go and join and say hello and say lovely things about all these people's work. And that's what we're doing today. And with me are some wonderful and equally fabulous people. I have got, just below me on the screen, Chris. Chris is looking for them. It is you, Chris.
Yeah.
Yes. Chris.
I thought it was Optimus. I thought you were talking about him.
Well,
thank you. It's lovely to be here.
I couldn't afford him for this. So,
No.
You're all I got. And also Carl, who's at the bottom of the screen there. Say hello, Carl.
Yo, how's it going, guys?
Good. You didn't say hello, Carl, which I'm really glad, because a lot of times when I say hello someone's name, they go hello someone's name. So I was appreciating that a lot. You are a man of class and style, as I knew.
And culture.
And culture, exactly. So these are my co-judges. We've been judging this all the way through. We've already done 2 other episodes on our top 10 gangs and our top 10 individual models. And this will be our top 10 painted. You go see those videos, and we will be doing a live show at some point very soon to display who the winners of these were. And there is also a People's Choice Award, which is still running now because we're letting it go a little bit longer because we've taken longer to get this done. That's everything.
No.
That is all the intro we need. We're going to get on. You don't need to listen to me anymore. And if you've already clicked the skip to point, you'll skip to now, where we're going to be talking about the first model of our top 10. They are in no particular order. It is a returning model from our individuals, and it is by Tabletop Ready, and it is B4rc05 Ignat, or Barkos Ignat. I'm hoping when I put that together, I didn't say a rude word.
Yeah. Be careful with that.
I know, you really should be. And that is the model. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
It's really nice.
We loved its kit bashing, and it is in our top 10 individual models. But when we were talking about it as an individual model, one of the things that came up a lot in it was the quality of the paint job. It was hard to ignore. And as we said last time we recorded this, and I think we will repeat this many times further on, is that because they were so good and the quality was so high, that it did come down to little things like the quality of the paint job, which I know wasn't highly scored on our thing, but because everyone was so good at all the kit bashing, that it was some of the things that did push it up. Not that it was always the case, but there was 2 models of a very similar nature to this one, and this kind of edged out on just a couple of little tiny things, and one of them being some of the cool paint jobs that are in this model. So
the subtle OSL, so it's not, you've got object source lighting in there that's not overriding anything, but it hits all the right planes. It's nice. Often people go over the top with OSL and it goes everywhere. That OSL's when if you don't know, is when you do a light source and you show where the light source hits other things, and you can see it's very, very subtle on the bottom. But it's not too much. It's not going too far. It's just a very slight glow, which is really nicely done. I really like that.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is the liquids. I love the liquid turning to smoke. It's so well done. The little globules they've got in the mixture, just so good. It's
got that nice triad of yellow green points, from the fluid at the bottom to the flames and the smoke liquid pour. So that's really lovely to move the eye around the piece, and to just have the subtleties in color and gloss textures and things to draw those out so that they do look like liquid and gloss and flame. That
painting
really
texture nice. On the fabric is a big thing. A lot of people.
It's a nice little touch, isn't it? Just to add that to differentiate surfaces, so that you can. The eye just immediately accepts that that's a different material, not just the same color or a different color surface. It's gives it that bit of depth,
different texture,
and texture to it.
I love the feet. I think that's a really weird thing to say, but I think
we've heard that. We've heard that before.
It's well known. But no, I think the just when you look at them particularly, you can just see the way that they've done the sort of lines of painting to create the different layers of color. It's so good. It's really well put together, and it's similar, as you're saying, the texture, the way that the brushwork and the control in the brushwork is so clear on throughout the model, but those particular areas really pick up on where you're using really fine details and getting really neat, very like heavily contrasted, as in like very rich pigment down in single brush strokes, it seems like. Do you know what I mean? So they've definitely got the control of the brush, the control of the paint on the brush, and putting it onto the model. And one of the things
this one's done really, really well that we haven't actually brought up before in different times is black lining, which isn't necessarily black in this, but they because I can see that there's a whole host of different colors, but it's just where you outline each individual piece with a darker color around where things join to create the contrast. And they've done it. You can see every single bit is separate from each other. They haven't done it to the point where it's comical, because sometimes it can get to the point where it's cell shaded without actually being cell shaded. And this is quite a nice example of how that works. And you can see everything individually.
Ambient occlusion,
too bad,
as it's called in rendering.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, but it's really well done on that. We were arguing last time, but we were not 100% sure if it was metallics that have been then like metallic, non-metallic, as in using metallics to highlight it, or if it was a non-metallic metal. I think we focused on it being metallics, but made to be non-metallic by like layering on different layers of metallics. But even
zoomed in, it's quite hard to tell. Just because, I mean, it's always hard to tell, but I personally think it is metallics just from the, unless they've really textured the staff, that it looks like it might be, because that's how you know, because it's like random lighting. But it is very hard to definitely say, because especially at the top of those protrusions with the glowy dots on the, pardon?
Yeah, the flatter areas, the back and things, they look less metallic metal.
Yes.
But when you do look at the back, there are a couple of little details that look like they've been missed there and just gone over with the grey metallics. So that's one like little negative there. There's not a lot of negatives, to be honest.
No. I agree.
Just wanted to grab one.
You have to bring the bar real high to like say, with the OSL's not perfect, and it could be ever so slightly neater, and they've missed some bits. But that's real anal. This is a really good paint job. Guys should be proud of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Lovely stuff.
All right, let's move on to the next one then, which is the tank, or the truck, sorry, by Batunatu. And it's a great model. There's so many things to talk about on this model. Why don't you take it away? Carl, why don't you take it away on this one? Stars off.
Yeah, I think the thing that jumps out of you initially this is the kind of pastel-y, painterly nature that is much more familiar with people that maybe do period miniatures, Second World War vehicles, things like that, than Warhammer stuff. And that's really cool to see, just that different approach and all of the textures that they've got in there. I think that's really cool, really excellent, and it shows a good comprehension of applying the different products and different paints.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah, and I like there's loads of little details that are great in this.
Yeah,
but the badly painted cat legs on the bottom, which are supposed to be reminiscent of like what they would have done in when when they paint vehicles and stuff in like real World War II, World War One.
It's very reminiscent of like the Korean War. They had a lot of like cats and stuff like that. It looks like that. It's cool. Yeah.
And the weathering that's over the top of that is just so good and so well done. Because it's very easy to use just a couple. I've said this before about this. It's very easy to use a couple of powders or just use a couple of streaking things and it's done. But they've mixed a load of products together. But they've also made sure that the dirt's in the right place, like having the mud and dust on top of the boxes, but not down the side of the boxes. Because that's how dust works, and having it caked on the bottom of the tire instead of all around the tire. And it's very, I really like that.
Those tires. The back tires, if they zoomed in on that, I'd find it very hard to say if that was a photo of a real truck or a model of a truck.
Probably, yeah.
Do you know what
It's
I mean?
really
Like,
lovely texture.
yeah, it's amazingly done. Like the way that it, as you said, with the dust works on the bottom, the way that it sort of looks like it's slightly punctured, and then you've got the metal work just is really the right color. I don't know. It's just it's really good. Yeah, I think all
Some
of
great
this,
old school vibes going on as well.
yeah,
Just generally, it's a very stylistic piece.
And the
which is
freehand
both technically good and stylistically great.
Yeah, and I think the freehanding does that a lot as well, and like that, particularly the flag, which has got the blades, the sign of the blades, the Eschers, and then the hazard stripe, which is very neatly done on a flowing banner. Really cool with the cat sitting on an outdoor lawn chair, which is just like amazing. I love that a lot.
I really like that they've added those little details, and it's like if you look in the gun compartment, which you can't see on that on the picture. There's a picture of the side, but when you go up, there's boxes full of stuff, and they've made the stuff interesting. Like there's a skull servitor thing that's just obviously been chucked in there, but there's again very subtle OSL to give the idea that it's still lit up and live and it's real, and it's nice to have that, and it changes the texture. And again, you see the weathering, the paint job, and the gun chipping is really hard, so they've done some great chipping on the paint job on the car. I really like all of it. I don't want to go in too close to it because again, models should be viewed at this distance, and with computers we can zoom all the way in, and that's not what you do. We're supposed to be doing optical illusions here, but that's all NMM. There's no metallic on any of this. It's all great. Non-metallic, and it's lovely. I really like it.
No, it's really good. There's just, and as we said at the beginning, the amount of little things like the bucket that's sitting on the end, it looks really, it's like, it's black, but it's got pitted like marks, it's gun marks, there's, weathering. It's a masterclass, really, isn't it, in how to do a vehicle in this style. Like there's loads of different styles you could do it, but this is a very particular, it's not seen very much actually, and it's great, and it works so well for Ash Waste. It feels like I'm actually quite surprised we don't see a lot of this style.
More of it, absolutely, I agree. For that, it really does speak to the setting. It's lovely to have seen something include a vehicle in the competition. It's excellent.
No, it's good. All right, let's move on. I know we're moving fast today, but there's a lot of them to get through. Next one is another returning model. It's by Guaca Miniatures. It's Mirok, which is our Gene Stealer, the neo-noir Gene Stealer. We love this as an individual model. It's also in our top 25 People's Choice Awards. So, and we have already talked about it quite a lot, so we can keep it very brief, but it's still a stunning, very striking model, I think is the word to put for it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, the OSL's lovely on it. The shadows are really nice. There is obviously, I don't think it's quite the same standard as the one we've just seen, but it is... It has got, but that's because they've used mono colors, which I really like. They've obviously completely had very stylistic, and I really, really like the additions of the stuff on the walls, and the shadows are really good. And where the light ends on the feet because of the jacket is quite a nice jarring thing, but a jarring detail. And it's just really well, and you don't see that kind of thing. Again, people tend to try and blend shadow where light doesn't blend ends, because that's how it works, and I quite like it. So really good job on that as well.
It's also really hard when you come to these kind of lights. When you look at like a true infrared light, it's kind of a little bit otherworldly anyway, and I really find difficult to do this kind of OSL with big powerful red lights. So kudos to them for going the kind of balls deep.
Red's a tough one. Without getting it pink as well. Red without it going pink is very hard to get right.
Because there's a lot of pink on here, yet it feels red. It feels naturally like a nice red gradient, and that's really good. Yeah. It's really nice.
Glazes, people. If it's going too pink, add a red wash over the top. It'll be fine.
Caribou.
I'm a big fan of like the stylistic little touches as well, like the very red claws and the white rims on the glasses. Just kind of pulls the eye around the model.
Well, that's the thing that really hits me,
and that's really good.
I totally agree. It's the thing that hits me about it is that it's like the use of paint has been so clearly chosen, and
it's been thought about really.
And that's what kind of makes it even more striking than like the quality of the paint job, as we all said, is like it's good. It's not bad. It's just not at the same level as what we've just seen.
The
way that it's been used is at the same level, I would say,
Well,
as in it has been used with the same level of quality of like decision making, and I think that's what is striking about it. And they use the limited palette of the 3 colors only really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're going to move on again because we've already talked about that one, and we're moving through. The next one is Ruben Martinez with, I've forgotten the name of the character. It's gone out of my head.
Lemmy,
thank you. I was just going to sing a song as long as I could do that. Right, so yes, Lemmy. Again, we talked about this model already before. It's a returning one, but it had to come back in this section because it is so well painted. Yeah, it's really good.
It's a fantastic paint job. All the little details are great. The OSL is lovely. The non-metallic is lovely. But I've said it before. My favourite part is that they've got light from the light from the fire on the gun is reflecting in the hair to create a reflection without it being orange, which is how hair works. And it's really nice. And there's just those little details. And like I could go around the whole thing and go, this is great. But there's loads of stuff on here.
The lights from the machine are key. The little burn on the color burn on the stomach from the flames really good. We noticed last time that we hadn't mentioned it before, the little bit of cotton as the smoke.
Yep. I hadn't realized it was cotton when we spoke about it the first time.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's all converted. It's obviously all sculpted, and which is great as well. Like all of it is built, and they've sculpted it for this competition, and that's just a lovely, that's a great achievement.
Oh no, it's incredible, and to paint it.
There's quite a lot of colours going on the piece as well, to bring that in is a real technical achievement, because a lot of times you want to thin that palette down, and to bring in the purple with the hair, they've mixed that with their non-metallic colours to produce the metalwork, like on the pipework, for instance, so that they can have that bigger palette of colours, but make it cohesive, not make it seem like it's just a load of little cherry-picked details being different colours, and that's really excellent, really smart.
They've even done it on the sign to make sure that it is coherent, so it goes down the body. It's on the sign, hair, metallic, and then on the hooves they've used it in the thing, and I reckon there's probably going to be some in the leather as well. And the specs.
They use that mixing technique where they adding a little bit of the primary tones to their tertiary tones to bring everything together. This model really, the paints have been mixed by hand to produce really lovely colours and tie them together, and that's
100%.
Yeah, really cool.
And there's little things I've only just noticed again this time. It's always something new. Like this time I've noticed the cans that are on the floor that have fallen down. Painted so well, and like the way that the metal overlaps itself and the little metal detailing. And one of the things we talked about last time was like the space jeans. They're really cool. And and the way that each individual piece of material has a real quality to it. Like you got that really crisp chrome on the pipework that goes to the flamer. Then you got the really cool space jeans, and then when you get to the back, and I think we mentioned this before as well, was like the bits that have got oil damage and rusted or are looking worn feel correctly chosen. Not everything is a mess, not everything is completely wrecked. His jeans look really cool, the pipework looks really cool, but the box which holds clearly like the fuel tank is covered in oil damage, and the door's like completely wrecked, but everything around it's got different layers of rust and stuff that feels appropriate for what they are in a really cool
way. It does. It feels really natural. All the detritus and weathering is excellent. Really cool.
I'd be interested to find out what the brand of can is, because it looks like John Smith's from here, but we don't know what it is.
We'll have to ask.
I love the freehand in the little screen as well. The little skull. You zoom in and have a look at that. Like so small. Yet not only have they captured the image, they've also made it look like retro-futuristic by actually painting in some kind of interference as well. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I like that.
I could do that.
Yeah, and the way the little button light shines on the side panel of the door, and you're like, oh, That's pretty
Yeah.
perfect.
Hard shadow.
Yeah, hard shadow, then
Blowout.
OSL. You're like, heck, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I is there any other final comments on that before we move on?
No, it's a gorgeous model.
I think people
Absolutely.
gashed up on that one.
Yeah, it's a great model. All right. Okie dokie. We'll move on then to the Co-Iron Interpolator delegation by Pochanko. So this was another one that's come up in our gangs. It was a pre-made gang, but we did pick it up on the coherency of the color scheme and the quality and consistency of the kit bashing, utilizing loads of different models and loads of different model ranges to bring together something very cohesive, which was very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice. We've said this before. The yellow's nice, and the weathering on it is very nice. But I particularly like the skin on the Sisters of Silence heads. There's one specific one which is leaning down, the down bolter one with the red top knot. Lovely, great use of a grey flesh, but with the different skin tones. It's quite hard again to make skin look interesting, and I really appreciate it when people do directional highlighting and shadowing so that it's different from different angles, and that's what they've done, and it's lovely.
It's great.
It does. They look really ruddy and grimy in the right kind of way that you expect for a setting like Necromunda. So that's really nice. And to use this much yellow and it not to be cartoony or like vulgar is really good. To bring that gang together cohesively without it seeming like a forced uniform. Like they're like a regiment of Space Marines, I think is really, really excellent. And yellow is just not the easiest colour to paint in the first place.
Not
so
patchy either.
Yellow is excellent.
Yeah.
No, indeed, it wasn't. Yeah.
It's not
How are they
patchy.
doing that skin? That is magic. I'm sorry, that is magic, right? That forehead.
It's nice. It's nice. Different colours. They're just adding different colours. But it's nice.
So well. Like just getting because the thing is, like, I remember when like learning how to paint faces, like for portraiture stuff at school, and like they're like, you won't realize until you like look at it that there's yellows, there's blues, there's reds, there's so many different tones of color in skin, and it's really hard to get that mix right, and to do it, doing it at like larger than probably human scale normally when you're painting, like doing it on a big like A0 board is a lot easier than when you're doing it on a pin. Basically.
Done like this. Yeah.
And that's why it's pretty magical. Yeah.
My criticism for the person who painted this is stop using your inks without watering them down. That's because your yellows are lovely, but the inks have got into they put it on and then they just banged it over the top of it. Yeah. And it's lovely. It would be nice. It's nice because it produces the contrast, but they're not. You can see it's an ink rather than a shade, and it would just be nice to see. But then I'm looking at a specific one, which is one with a heavy bolter for an arm, and it's because the ink has gone in. It's created a flatness across the leg, tabard and cloak because it just thickens everything around here, and it doesn't create any contrast.
Matte and satin colorations banging against each other, don't you? When they pull like that. Mm-hmm.
You can go back in with an ink though if it is an ink, not a shade, with White Spirit and calm that down though, can't you?
Work it out. Yeah.
Wouldn't even need to do that. You just sit there with get a watered down version of the colour that you've already got, and just go in with some little cross hatching, make a texture. Yeah. It's just. It's just because they've obviously done it. They've either done it quickly or they've done it, and that's like their technique, and that's fine. It's people do different things. Yeah, they just enjoy that. But this is painting bit, and I would say that for me, when you just bang an ink onto something, it will flatten something. Inks are one of the things you have to use very sparingly, and just banging them across. And I think it's going to be. I even think I know what the ink is. I was just looking for it in front of me there because I was going to pick it up.
Or is it one of the villain?
It's a Games Workshop one. It's a pot of brown ink basically, but it would have been flesh wash, but they don't do flesh wash like that anymore.
You mean is it one of the contrast paints?
No, it's not contrast. It's a wash, but
one of the shades.
When I remember it, it'll just be tomorrow morning. I'll wake up. Yeah, Agrat's Earth Shade. That's it. Agrat's Earth Shade. That's it. I think that's what this is.
So it's
before we move on, I'd quite like to quickly touch on the board is the bright colours. Using our verdigris for this for the whole bases and board panels that they've displayed it on. That's That's a strong choice.
Oh, it's great.
Really
And,
nice. Yeah.
it looks excellent. That's something to commit to right there. And yeah, they've pulled it off.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to mention that too, because it's quite striking in comparison to what you would normally see.
It's a great board. I want to borrow it.
And it contrasts nicely. They've contrasted nicely with rough stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I've got the 3D printed version of that set of stuff. It's looks similar. I don't know if that is the GW stuff, but I've got a very similar set that was 3D printed, and it's looking good actually. But it's not part of the competition.
No, but the bases are in the same thing. So.
The bases
are great.
They're coloured nicely.
They are. Okay, moving on then from Pachank, we're already on number 6 with
6.
Yeah, the sludge worms, Dorin Shambletongue, the righteous arbiter of the Redemptionist Church, which is what we call the meme of 40k meme. I think it's the ultimate grim, because it's the meme of 40k. It is also comes down to part of its paint job being the memification of it with like Blanchitsu. You know, it is. Apart from the one thing I brought up last time was the only thing that feels out of place with that is the flame blade. It's the only thing for me that's it feels a little bit too clean comparatively, and I don't think the flame's quite right. But if you ignore that from the rest of it and the things they've done off that, like the OSL, it's just
the light direction from it is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is really nice. And it's caught right as well, where you see the sensor that's dangling, and on the servo skull's pipe, it's all nicely done, properly done. Which is it servo skull? It looks like a servo skull.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and the candles are nice as well. There's something I haven't mentioned. The glow from them is really subtle, which is lovely, because people tend to do candles as like, and they're not.
The light of 1,000 candles.
Yeah, and candles aren't. They have no illumination.
Exactly.
Almost
Imperial candles that don't go out in the heat of battle.
That's it, yeah. Imperial, the everlasting underwater
the light
candles.
of the Emperor that keeps these flames ablaze.
That's it. They're acetylene torches, aren't they? That's all they are. That they've got on their back.
Astronomicon brand candles.
Yeah.
Astronomicon brand candles. Yeah. But
what a nice,
really, really
quiet,
nice.
relaxing night in. Get Astronomicon candles and bathe in the light of the Emperor.
I think so. This one has got the thing that I like about smoke, and we've had a couple with smoke that are good. And but I'm going to put it out here: the smoke's done right.
Yes.
Light to dark.
Yes.
Don't do smoke dark to light like GW does. Do it light to dark. That's how it works.
And they've done the same with the flame.
Very nicely done.
The right way round.
They've done the same with the flame, but we've seen flames and we've seen glows.
Yeah.
Smoke's different.
Smoke. That is how you do smoke. Everyone at home, that's how you do smoke.
Light to dark.
There were some people who have
eldritch smoke or chemical smoke or something weird. Yeah. Burns.
Even then, it should be the lightest color to the darkest color as it dissipates. You shouldn't go the other way. It looks weird when it's dark to light.
Yeah.
Smoke goes the opposite to flame.
Yeah.
Which people forget.
Well, it's always light to dark.
The same as flame.
The same flame. It always goes light to dark.
Same as flame.
Because the flame goes to smoke. That's the whole point. It's in it gets darker at the end.
It was me just losing it.
Yeah. It's a funny one because people do. I don't know why. I think because people see candles, and candles have that dark central bit, where it's like, because you don't see
the wick.
Yeah, the wick.
It's the wick.
Yeah, exactly. Because the wick, but also because
then bright.
But also because it hits into different ranges of like blue flames as well. Look at a blue flame.
Yeah, it's blue.
Yeah, and the blue. Yeah, exactly. And that's why it looks darker. But it's so. Anyway,
it's just
that
hotter.
smoke's really great. That smoke is really good.
The smoke's right. The smoke's correct, is what it is. Yeah. It is well done, but it's also correct.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me on my end. I lost audio for a second for everyone.
I heard everyone.
So to check, is it all fine?
I think so. I saw the buzzers going.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, I could hear Chris as well.
No, sorry to interrupt. I just thought it was best to just mention.
No, it's good.
Okay, cool.
This is going out quite raw, so we'll see all these things.
Boom, straight in.
This is the intro. This is how it goes. Yeah. Well, I think that's everything to say on that. I think we like it. It's got good grime. It's good 40k.
Yeah.
It's 40k.
Good
Lovely
grime.
Yeah, the metalwork is nice, overbrushing metallics over lots of grime.
It's very metal.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
Very
yes,
very metal.
very heavy metal.
Very heavy metal.
Yeah.
All right, that is. Look, we're booming through these at the moment. That is number 7. That was number 6. This is on to number 7. Now, these are the owner employees of the Great Ash Casino, done by Immaterial Creations. Now, I did last time we recorded this. I wanted to just put a moment in to say how much I really loved this gang, and for me, and I think it missed out on some other categories by like hair breadths in some respects. But for me personally, it was always one of my favourites. It's a really great gang. It's got some really cool ideas behind it. The whole narrative of the whole thing's really fun, and each individual model has a narrative that's so well reasoned into the miniatures. I think some of the things we kind of marked it down a little bit was like the coherency of some things about it, and also just like it's like was again hair breadths of things between things.
Yeah,
but it's a very well painted set of models. It's a really well painted.
That just probably knocked it out a little bit. But
I think it's the cleanliness of it is quite nice. It's every other one is very dirty as it is in Necromunda, you normally see, but because of the nature of the plot and the story and the lore behind this, it's not meant to be that. It's meant to be clean, and everything is very well painted. The whites on the hands of the Monty is Monty, I'm just trying to get of Monty is with the cups is very smooth, and then the metallic underneath, if you look at underneath the table, has got a metallic that's very rarely seen in any miniatures. There is this like very black metallic,
flat metallic
that is slightly highlighted, and it's like it's the exact type of table you would expect to see in the real world with that kind of metal, and it's but everything's
wrought
very careful
iron.
and
it's like wrought iron, very old wrought iron that you don't you're right, it's very matte. You don't get that powdery matte metal. It's like kind of what you think possibly what they called Chaos Warriors should be. The thing that I found that I've bought recently is I've bought a different primer, a different black primer, and it's a car paint primer. It's not Halford's one, and it's really
interesting. It's
really matte black, like super matte, and it's because I'm so used to having Chaos Black from GW,
satin,
which is very satin, basically silk, I think, in some ways. And if you dry brush that, you get, that's what you're going to do Chaos Warriors. You normally get your black base and you don't do much else to it. Dry brush it and then add a bit of null on top. But I've got this new one and I haven't had a chance yet to do any new Chaos Warriors in it, but I have a feeling it's going to give me more that effect than the other one. So, because of that. The other thing on the hands that I love so much about this is you've got 3 beautifully white hands and then one hand that remains black metal like the rest, which is holding...
Very nice touch.
And the posing of it is really well done. Yeah, and it's
obviously supposed to be the distraction, isn't it?
Exactly. That's what's great about it.
That's the point.
Such well...
I have to just... One last thing about the wrought iron bit underneath that I have only just noticed because I've zoomed all the way in. They have done the tiniest of rust on the base that looks like your nan's table outside on the patio, and it's pushed that up in quality for me a little. I've only just noticed it. It's been months. I've only just noticed it, and it's pushed up in quality just a little bit because it's so subtle. It's so and it's the suggestion. It's like the narrative changes. This is all very polished, beautiful casino, but obviously underneath the surface, there's this slight corruption, and it's this. I like it. See, I've just like it's again. It goes nicely with it, and I just really like. I've only just noticed it from looking at it, and I'm trying to see.
You get that same
metal on the others.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now. The metal. You do get it a bit on the metal work of the legs of the one-armed bandit.
The owner.
Yeah, the one-armed bandit.
Oh, the one-armed bandit.
His legs,
fruity,
are that similar metal. And it looks like there's some subtle redding on the base, but it could also be like, is it picking up just paint from and like wash of the red floor. But really cool. And the skin on that one is pretty good as well, I would say. Like the tones, and it's not the same as that bloody Sisters of Silence head, which I just can't get over how good that is.
I like it.
But this with the contrasting of those really vibrant colours, it's really good.
Yeah, pretty good.
And I'll just quickly show. We've talked to the boss. There's the roulette wheel, which has got a very similar standard. The only one that sort of stands out as sort of like other to these is the brute character, where it feels very spray painty.
It does. It feels a bit airbrushed. I think it would have been nicer to see some more freehand work there to bring the areas of the sculpt that clearly are supposed to represent fur, and the areas that are clearly meant to be bearskin be more coherent, because they just kind of blur out.
Yeah, because the bare skin feels really good. Yeah. It feels on the same quality as everything else, but then it goes to the skin, and then it's just a single note color, and it feels like it could have just. It
catches my eye quite badly, and and when I see really powdery airbrushing like that, I don't know, it bothers me.
I think I'm not. I don't disagree. I don't have the same opinion of it as Carl does on airbrushing, but it does. They've lost the opportunity to make this big brute guy much nicer. They've got loads of color, loads of skin to work with, and they've gone for a very basic, very contrasted, dark wash, highlighted. And then a gradient, which is an airbrush. It looks like an airbrush gradient. It could just be a glazed gradient, but it looks like an airbrush gradient. And then the material loincloth is just a
and the lower
dark,
feet as well,
nothing
flat as well.
Everything else is like of a higher quality than this. Even the CCTV camera on its face is really good. It's like the glass is at next, and then they lost it. Like the nipples are the same color as the areolas are a different color to people. If you've got nipples, that's how use it, paint it, do something with it. But I mean, anyone, that's just a rule for life. Specific with them, do something with them. But like, it bothers me about the face because it's been inked. It's either been inked or it's been very painted, very contrasted instead of blended. And you don't have to have those dark colors in every single crack. You can have them where they need to be, where the light would hit.
I'm going to assume that this was the last model they painted, and time was running out. And it was.
I was about to say exactly the same thing. Because I've been quite negative about this warband, and a lot soon. I was just going to cut out some slack and say that maybe there were just time constraints, and that is why some of the bits that I think are a little bit lacking, like the purple contrast, kind of just skin wash, and then the beast's kind of lack of detail. Maybe it's just time constraints. So,
because they sculpted a lot of these like on Blender. There's a lot of getting parts, putting them together in Blender, doing all that posing and printing them out and painting them. That is a lot of work, and a lot of work has gone into this. So I think it's it's got to be lauded that in the time frame from start to finish that everyone else had, they've come to the table as well with this level of equipment, models and the paint job that is pretty damn good, in the 90% of the time, so. But I get it. I still do get some of the criticisms of it. But I think it's that's got to be remembered, I think. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the number 8. Gaston de Slop, another returning model. So we can be pretty quick on this one. But it's fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
Good start, nice. It's brings some levity back in, and Warhammer is a satire setting, and it's nice to see some fun bits occasionally. On the painting side of things, there's some really excellent little freehand details. First off, bloody hand and the check, both of those are really on point. You could kind of reach in and touch that handprint. It feels really nice. And checkers are just a pain in the butt,
They are.
This is really
and they're quite well done. And they're well done, and they're done in line with how the wrinkles in the trousers would go as well.
It does feel natural, doesn't it?
It's in the top 10, so it is really well painted. I think that's what I have to start with, because I don't want to criticize anyone without that. It's the check's really nice, the handprints are really nice. It is completely flat, like the same color underneath things as on top of things. There's no, the shading and highlighting is done like very nothing, like just the color is this or that. It's very flat, but but the places are, the colors are nice, so it's really well done. But there's no like gradient highlighting or anything like that. It's all the same.
If they got that in some more striking lighting to actually take the photo, it would look way better, because that's the thing. As you said, they painted it flat, but then what you got to do in that scenario to make this look better is get it under some very sharp lighting above and create the natural shadows. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should
have painted. You should paint them in, because you're never going to have that on a board. But
no, I know.
And the metal, and they've tried NMM, which is really hard. NMM is very hard until you get it, and they've attempted it on both. Well, it's all NMM, and they've attempted it on both. I think. Yeah, it looks good on the knife. It's just they need practice with it, but it looks good. It's that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter either way. It looks good.
And they've done some good
needs to matter.
OSL on the green orb.
Yes, it is a good. Yeah, it's green.
Which is actually quite
the
well
orb needs to be brighter, but it does look good on the OSL. Is nice around the thing and on the toes.
It is a bit of a distraction though. The colours don't.
There's nothing to tie it
piece very well.
Yeah, there's no. You're right.
I would need to know what that is.
Just put some slime coming down the spoon to bounce off the mushrooms. You could have done a nice little kind of
know where it come from.
Kind of bring the colours across.
I totally agree. I think that's a really good point.
I personally would have left that off with the glowy mushrooms. It's just a bit of a distraction for me when I look at the piece.
Well, it is as well, because it highlights the fact that the rest isn't directionally highlighted. So that OSL is directional, and nothing else is.
No, like you said earlier, with the cloak and that, it is a fairly flat pattern, and we saw that actually in the last gang as well. Fairly flat colours, but because there wasn't any directional lighting, it didn't really matter. Whereas as soon as there is here, then yes, it kind of falls down on other areas. So you do have to be careful about your consistency. Consistency is one of the most important things in artwork.
You're right.
It carries your style.
If you're gonna have lighting,
you can have like a strong style and not worry particularly about.
No, you're right.
Things contrasting.
But it is really well painted.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Absolutely.
But it is really well painted.
And it would look great on the battlefield as well.
And they made a nice little custom fun miniature as well. So
100%.
Yeah. Like you said at the beginning, mate, all of these are in the top 10. So these are all the best of the painting as it is. And it's all very subjective. We all have different opinions. We've all argued and discussed about this repeatedly. So
this is what we
very different opinions.
That's the point.
Very different opinions.
We've been really nice about everyone so far, to be honest. I think I
feel like we can be a bit more critical, but at the same time they are all in the top 10, and really a lot of the problems are that they're flat, and I think I never really hold people to fault about flatness, because Games Workshop teaches flat painting, so then they're like, I'm not doing anything wrong, and they're not doing anything wrong, but it's just the next level. If you're listening, the person that painted this would be to decide which direction your light is coming from and shade that way. Have it like really dark under in the shadows, and then what light it would be, and maybe even add a little bit of color from the light source. That's not OSL, but that's just how the sun works and things like that.
You see that a little bit in the chef's hat. The chef hat actually has some of the nicest like shading in it. Where the
and white stuff
on the side are balanced very nicely with the amount of shading that they've done on the undercut. That is probably one of the better painted, more boring pieces that isn't like like the patterns and the handprint and things like that. The chef's hat being solid white, that's really good, because solid white things like we talked about with the gloves, that's hard, man.
And they're really well. It's really well. Really well contrasted. We did the black lining and everything. You can tell which areas which. They don't blend into each other. It's
really
great.
Good. All right, let's move on then to number 9, which is username. Oh, by the way, that was by Ross Barrabill, the Gaston de Slop earlier. His name did come up. But this next one is by username William, and it is it's a few things that we picked up from this one, to be honest, which is the but we're just picking up the. Oh, sorry, I'll start that. Oh, what was I saying? It's the M.O.W, the small-headed. That was it, which is originally a piece from the Nurgle range, the Nurgle flyer.
Yeah.
What was it called?
It's like a plague drone or something like that.
Plague drone, yeah.
One. I don't think it's the Forge World one. It's the actual.
No,
plastic.
It's not the old school one. It's the new one with the plastic one with the grinder wheel, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it didn't come much higher in like there were some really good bits in this whole range by username _William. And there was some fun things like the barrel gun thing. Dum Dum Barrel. But the thing that sort of let it down, I think, was like it didn't feel enough kit bashy beyond
and they were basic.
Yeah, it didn't
without being horrible.
It's like it's bloody basic. There's it. No, it's just no. But I know what you mean. As in, like there wasn't. These are great models in their own right.
Yeah, well, that's it. But there's been so much. There's been so much competition, and that's where it comes down to that. They may have fit really well just because they were just great
models in the first place.
Go straight in. But
exactly. Yeah.
That's competition.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the thing is, it does have a very good paint job. It's a very top quality paint job.
The freehand on the carapace is lovely, where it says warning, and you could have printed a stencil and dabbed it out, but which is what it looks like you've done. But at the same time, at that size, that's very hard to do.
Yeah,
and it's all the lining is nice, and it's almost cel shaded, but not quite. So it's got that nice cartoony feel to it, which feels with the rest of the gang as well. It's a style, it's stylistic, and I like
it's a very striking style, and it was consistent across the gang really well. And it's a great blending of like GW's like official box art style with, like you said, a little bit of cel and a little bit of grime. It's really clever.
And some blood for the blood god in there.
Individual there.
Yeah.
Chucked in.
Good bit of rusting.
There's metallics. They've highlighted the metallics. People very rarely highlight metallics. Professional painters do, obviously, and people going for painting competition too. But when you play, you'll go and play, and people will be like, "I did a dark metal, then I did a light metal dry brush, then I washed it, then I gave it another light metal dry brush," and that's fine. It looks fine. That's not even had an ink on it. That's a highlight, I think. The lighting's a bit dark for me to tell, definitely. What they have done is done a lovely job with the rust.
Oh, the rusting is great. And I think they've got a similar metal effect going on there. A very matte, dusty sort of raw iron metal on the darker metal. And the rusting's... my trick, and I think what they've done is Troll Slayer Orange dry brush. That's all you need to do. You don't actually need to do much with powders. I don't think, if you don't want to, like, you obviously can, but I think there's a lot that could be done with that, and it comes across well. I think the only thing is the really shiny metal looks great where it's like the wraps around the body, but on the jet boosters, it feels a little bit too clean, like to be next to something so rusty. I would accept it if they made that more oily, so it's like that's been well oiled or is oily because of like Nurgle. Then I'd be like, cool. But it's like right next. It looks like half the jetpack's been dunked in like brine, and the other half has been really well oiled and polished, maintained and brand new out the box, and it feels a little bit jarring in that sense. And it would just been good to have acknowledged that somehow. Yeah, that was all.
The skin's nice as well, even though it's like a basic lining technique, but it's added a texture to it that you wouldn't. I've pulled right in, and no one's pulling right. You're not. Your eyes don't even see it, but you can see the lines on it, and that's created a nice muscle effect in places. But then when you pull out as you should, because that's where you're going to play it from, that's where you see it from. It gives a really nice a really nice optical illusion, and I like that.
And the background is
like the Cylon eye.
The what? The Cylon eye.
Yeah,
I was thinking kit. You see,
the light ISL on the little red glowy eye.
The Knight Rider is what I was thinking. That is that's why I'm older, and you're.
Because we're all we all do terribly old.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice, and the OSL's nice on that as well. When you zoom in, you can see, because I thought it was I thought that it was a line with an OSL above it, but when you zoom in, you see that it's that, and it's supposed to be designed so it looks like it's moving on purpose.
I can't believe I didn't pick that up until you've noticed. I was like, I thought its eyes were where I'm now realizing is its nose. Like, I thought they were the two little nodules on the side.
Oh, okay, that's like a gas mask piece built into the gas.
And that's the
it's
eyes.
Like a little slit with the little red light. Like
completely changes the model's look to me, and I hate it. No, I'm joking.
And it's done. Right, different
number 10. No, I'm joking. I just didn't see it. I just didn't
9
freaking see that. Frick, I would love to have this on my table. I mean, that's the end of the day. I think this is a freaking cool model and looks amazing. Not just because, but 100 million times more reasons why are because of all the paint job things, which look amazing.
Yes.
And what are those freaky things in the background? I like those. Those are cool. They're like pink horrors or something.
I think you can get them. No, I think they're
They are an
terrain.
alien terrain set that GW did a while back that had some different alien plants in it and some Eldari ruins.
Oh, nice.
I've got the whole set and converted them to Necromunda.
Everyone's got such good boards. I need to build a board.
Can you get them? Terrain's cheap. It's easy to make.
I've got terrain. I just need to do it. I just need to do it. I need to do it.
You should do it.
I've got to do it.
Not cheap.
I'm building a crappy one for rat gangs at the moment, so like I want to make a really good one. So
spray paints. Spray paints and big brushes.
Okay.
That's my next year project, that is.
Yeah, and paper mache. I want to get some paper mache on. All right, that's enough on that because we're running out of time. We need to hurry up and get on to the last one, which is Whispering Fog's Escher Gang leader, and it. This one was for me, and I think particularly Carl. I know this is more our choice on this, and and my thinking on it, and I'll let Carl speak afterwards, was that it's just really 1990s cartoon and just what I think of when I think of Necromunda from when I started playing Necromunda the first time round in 1997 era, and how everything was just grungy and gloopy and these sorts of vibrant colours and very cool and space agey, and that's kind of, and it's the epitome of that sort of painting done with really cool little patterns, and I love it for that. I don't know, Carl, what's your thoughts on it?
I 100% agree. I think it's it's a very punk miniature, and they've gone with a very punk paint scheme. It's brightly coloured. They haven't messed around with all the little details, but I feel like the paint scheme is meant to be like that. It's not going to win awards, but I think overall as a whole piece, and in particularly the artistic style they've gone for, it speaks to me like of punk and of the 90s era that Necromunda specifically fell into when it came out. And I think that's why we wanted to include it, is on a technical sheet ticking off all of the different gangs that we had. We've had a lot of duplicates then of the ways that things have been painted, so it's nice to highlight different stylistic choices and painting techniques there. And that's where it spoke to, I think, both of us really in that respect.
I just want to highlight that when Carl says, as a judge during a painting competition, it's not going to win any awards. We are still judging it and on its own merits. It's just...
To be fair though, my judging criteria is pretty different probably to the people at Crystal Brush. I think that's more what
it was just the way you said it.
That is pretty funny.
I was like,
that was some pretty semantics by me right there.
It's literally winning. It's literally winning a finalist bin. But I guess
it's in a finalist. It's not going to win. Just straight off.
Sorry, Carl. That was really good. But
that was funny.
But it's.
But you are right. I agree.
100%.
There's some nice areas of it. I think that it's a 90s style. I personally don't agree. You two chose this, and I make it very clear. I think that whoever's done this has made some very great choices with it. There's some lovely bits, but you more practice, and you're going to get to the. You're going to get to the next
We know
stage.
this person can do really great painting because we looked at one of their pieces, which was the Patient Man with the amazing liquid, the neon liquid guy in the patient in the bed. Do you remember that, Chris?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, if you go look at all of their
one of my favourites.
photography and stuff up on there.
I think that was one of my top 10s. Like that one. But this one, it has, so as we're judging it as a painting competition, and we've got everyone at the same criteria, it has colours that go outside of the lines where you've got on the grenades where like the pink and the green tends to go across the metal in a non-OSL, like a non-controlled kind of way, and that just needs to thin paint. I think that the tabard is really nice. That's a very nice effect. I really like the way that's done. But there's some mistakes that I think this was painted quite quickly, because like the pink from the hair, there's been a brush stroke go onto the face from the pink on the hair, and things like that. It just shows that it's like been done quickly where others have done it. They've spent a bit more time on stuff like that. And that patient one is incredible. So if this is the same artist, I can see the potential.
Yeah, it's the same guy. He messaged me and said that he was too unwell and in hospital to enter. He really wanted to enter. He was really gutted. He was hoping he'd get out in time to be able to enter, and he didn't. And I said he could just submit things from his back catalogue. So he submitted a couple of photos from things he'd done in the past. Because we did open it up to people across the board to do that they could make stuff for the competition or show off old school stuff.
I don't know.
So I guess it could,
I guess I would just be so happy with this picture. Do you know what I mean? This model, I'd be really happy with this model. Or maybe that's my problem. But I think
it's just me adding the same criteria that I've applied to all the other nine.
I get it.
I get it. What I'm saying is,
I think to some people, some people's style is going to be much more important than like technical skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we all know from a fact from when we discussed it and we overlapped our top 25s to try and narrow it down how different we felt, the quality across the board. We all highlighted basically everybody's entry and had very little to agree on initially and had to whittle that right down. So,
we did.
And I think, to be fair, we've all, done pretty well to get this far. And
yeah, definitely
agree on top 10s, because there's some been some excellent work done by you all, so thank you so much for coming together and producing all this stuff for us.
I think
for the community
there's a quick
you guys rock.
100%. I say it at the end of every episode, and I'll say it again now, is that like the quality and the amount of work that was brought in, and just everyone's sort of that it's really it's humbling, isn't it? Like that you put these things out there, and you try and think maybe 4 or 5 people will come back and do some little kit bashes, and then you turn up with some things at a quality of level that is just like it's just beyond any of the expectations. Like the one I'm showing at the moment, which is the gang of the casino gang. Just the fact that someone went out there and did all those layers to get to this point and brought something here, and then you've got that truck, which is just like another level. You've got Ruben Martinez's piece, which is again sculpted for the event. Is an absolutely incredible piece of work and painted in that time, and you're like, for this thing that I was thinking of over the summer, I went, that'd be a cool idea, do this, and then ended up becoming something. It's just like, and then 100%. The biggest part of this is everyone out there, and it's appreciated, very much appreciated.
Definitely appreciated. It sounds stupid, but it helps me get up in the morning. So thank you guys, legendary.
Yeah. No, it seriously does. It makes all of the stuff I've ever done on like YouTube and stuff like that. This is the most rewarding thing I've done because it's
really good to hear, dude. Yeah, get on.
Oh, it's 100% true though, because it
for sure. No, I do agree.
Look at this stuff.
I love community projects like this. They blow me away.
Yeah. And
this is my art project that I do, just seeing people come together to produce this kind of stuff, and share it with the community.
And on that note, you should
about.
Like Nectober you've just done as well, which is just recently just finished, and that's another amazing thing that I've been scrolling through I've been lurking
hundreds and hundreds
in the
of pieces of
Discord.
fan art, you know.
Yeah, it's
So many
amazing.
hours worth of work.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
It's just amazing. It's such a great community. It is. It's the best Warhammer community out there. We all know it is, don't we? We all know that. Don't tell the others.
You're gonna start a fight.
It's you, then it's the Age of Sigmar, and then there's everyone else. Actually, I hear Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl's quite cool as well. It's just basically everyone but 40k.
No one likes 40k anymore.
No, I'm joking.
Everyone likes the little ones.
Yeah,
Kill Team. Kill Team's coming up the ranks now.
You think
now
so?
you can play co-op.
Yeah, for sure.
You
I
can
enjoy
play
Kill Team
co-op.
very much.
Co-op Kill Team.
Yeah, you can play co-op Kill Team.
I like
Got rules.
Really? That sounds
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, co-op campaigns.
I need some friends to actually play with now, you know. Good.
Nice. I like
You
that.
can play Warhammer across the internet. I've seen people playing it on Discord. I know that it sounds crazy, but you can.
There's a thing. Well, I mean, there's always what's it called? Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
I've
So
got.
photos and miniatures.
Yeah, I may have seen some Mordheim stuff on there. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't know. GW, don't look. Don't look. Don't go looking on there. It's dangerous.
Stop getting James Workshop involved. Bringing him in here. You narc.
I'm not. I said don't look. That's what that wasn't saying. Come and have. Anyway. But on that note, there's two other people I need to thank greatly. Before we finish this episode, which is both Carl and Chris. Thank you so much for all of your time and your help on this.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure to do this with you and to have your help and support throughout this overwhelmingly awesome thing, but is also overwhelming as part of that. So it's really great to have had you here. And apologies that the last time we did this, you could only hear me the whole time. And that you've had to come
They
back.
won't know that, though. You should put that episode out, the lost episode.
It would just be me talking, just going.
That one. See if everyone can back out all the rest of us.
Yeah. Just like a science fiction theatre 3000 version.
Shall I just do your voices? Just like different voices.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Hamilton's
Just
great.
replace our faces with a couple of stock puppets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or when you do you just record the mouth bit, and I just put my mouth over your mouth and go, hello.
You don't need. We have mouths. You can just provide the voices.
I could just do the voices. Okay, maybe I'll put like 5 minutes of that somewhere on the
Every
internet.
single one is just Hamilton going, I really like this. Oh, I agree with you, Hamilton. You're so brainy and sexy. And that's just me and Carl for an hour.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly.
I wish I was you.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. Or, well, no. Yes, I could agree with you more. I will agree with you more.
Yeah.
I don't know why you will have that voice, but there you go.
Like Miss Piggy. Every single time me or Carl opens, oh, Kermit.
I wish I could do a Kermit the Frog as well, but I can't.
Kermit D. Frog
Kermit
reporting
D. Frog.
from inside Hive Secundus.
There we go. I know who's doing that voiceover. There we go, sorted. All right, well, that is enough for today. That is all our top 10 best painted. We are going to be doing one more video, which is going to be looking at a combined effort of the top 3 from our best narrative, best narrative and best based, and our best artistic endeavor. I like best based, like they're the most based. This is like totally based.
They're the most based.
They're just based.
It's all about the base.
They're just the most based. It's not anything to do with the base. It's if they're actually based. You know what the kids mean.
It's
the
addicted
kids
to
know
base.
what I'm talking about. All right. Anyway, that's everything for today. Bye, everyone. See you later. Blah.
Bye.